We're planting bare root roses today on pots and trowels, and that's brought to you with the support of Cobra Garden and Darlac. Hello and welcome to Pots and Trowels. Well, a couple of weeks ago we started to prepare this border ready for planting. We lifted the turf, we incorporated lots of organic matter into the compacted soil to get it in really good condition. And if you haven't seen that video, of course it's on our YouTube channel where you can subscribe for free and see all the other videos that we've done. And what I'm doing at the moment is just playing around with a few plants just to get them in position, to get a feel for it. And that's a really good thing to do. Leave them for a day or two and then you can move them and tweak them once you've looked at them from different windows in the house. One of the things we need to do, this part of the border is directly in line with the back of our house. The dining room and the kitchen window look out onto this. And we've got this really ugly manhole that was originally in the lawn. So we're going to hide it as part of this bed, and I want to have plants that will cover this concrete pad. I'll probably put some bark over this to hide it, but we have to leave that there. So we'll put ground cover over this, a few evergreens that will mask it from the house, but we've got to make sure this is accessible. So I've got the lovely pittosporum there, Tom Thumb, that will make a mound of foliage there. We'll put a clump of grasses to give that feathery feel. And then here I've got this box that we've been growing in a pot. We've actually got two, so I'm going to put one this side of what will be an archway and one the other. So it gives evergreen, but it also directs you through the arch. And just at the front here, there's an area there we need to plant something that will look good. And I want to put a rose in, a little shrub rose, an English rose here. And the one that I'm going to put in is one called Harlow Car, which is a beautiful rose. And these were delivered to us a couple of weeks ago before we were ready to plant. So this is how we dealt with them. Very excited. I've just had a delivery through the post of some bare root roses to go in the garden. But unfortunately, I haven't got the ground ready yet because we've had so much rain over the past 2 or 3 weeks. It's just a bit too soggy. So I can't leave them in this packaging for more than 2 or 3 days because they'll dry out. So I'm going to heel them into the garden and show you how you do it. So if you're buying roses through the post, they should come very well packaged. These have come from C&K Jones, a rose specialist. So we've got a strong cardboard box, and then we've got a paper sack, and inside there's a polythene bag which will keep everything nice and moist. So these were probably only dug up out of the field a few days ago before they were popped into the post. Just watch the prickles, and there we have our 3 bare root roses, which are perfect. Now they've been tied together, so I'm just going to cut the string. Now heeling in is a process that we do as a temporary planting measure just to keep the roots moist. That's vital that we don't allow the roots to dry out. Now these are nice and moist. These have come from Cheshire, and I know they've had a lot of rain there as well, so they're moist. But should you get them and the roots are just starting to dry out, just a little tip is just dunk them in a bucket of water like that and leave them in there for maybe half an hour or so, so that they rehydrate. And then what I've done here is I've dug out a trench just in a spare bit of ground on the vegetable plot just here. It can be anywhere in the garden. And I'm just going to position these roses there. I've sort of let it lean back. I've dug the back of the trench out on a slope. You can put them really close together like that. So we've just got those in there, and then literally I'm just going to cover them over with some of this soil. So that's keeping the roots in contact with moist soil, but the tops are in the light, just a little firm, and they will be fine like that for not only several days but several weeks until the ground conditions are perfect for planting. If you haven't got anywhere that you can heel them in like this, then you can just get a nice deep plant pot, must have drainage holes in it, put them in there, a bit of soil or some compost, leave them outside, and they again will be fine. So as soon as the ground conditions are right, we'll get them in the garden for permanent planting. And this is the very rose that was healed in a couple of weeks ago and still nice and fresh, and those roots are really moist, which is the important thing. So this is going to be planted here. So really easy to plant. And the benefits of bare root roses is sometimes they're a little bit cheaper, but it means that you're not having to waste a pot of compost. They're cheaper to transport, so they're really better for the environment, planting bare root roses. And if we plant it now, it will make some root over the winter and grow away next spring. Really easy to do. So I've already done some preparation on the ground. That one grows to about 3 feet tall, 3 feet across, so it will fill this area nicely. So what I'm going to do is just dig out a hole in this soil, and this is sort of it's not clay, it's a sort of a loamy soil. There is clay underneath if we go down deep enough, and roses have quite deep roots, so we do need to dig a fairly deep hole like that. So what I'm doing is going down to there, and I'm just getting into a bit of clay as we go down, and that should be nice and deep, as you can see there. And then using my fork, I'm just going to fork the bottom. So if you've got any hard layers, just loosen it up a little bit like that. So I'm just going to take a little bit more soil out of there, so we've got plenty of depth to spread those roots. So digging the hole is really important, and there we have got the clay as we get down deeper. So that's the hole. I'm then going to get a little bit more of my compost that we put on. This is the plant grow compost, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of this around there, so that will mix in to our soil that we've dug out, a little bit in the bottom, just work it in. So we've improved the soil that little bit more. Now here's the rose. Roses are grown by grafting them or budding them. So this is the rootstock here, and this is the point, the union we call it, where the bud of the rose was inserted, and it's grown to produce this nice head just here. So that is going to go in the hole. Now traditionally, we used to plant them so that the top of the rootstock was just visible, but modern planting is to actually bury it just a little bit, because what will happen is roots will grow from around this union and give an even stronger root system. So we're not going to plant deep, we're just going to go just below the surface. So hold that into the hole. So that's plenty deep enough. Now the other thing I'm going to do, and you don't have to do this, but I've also got some mycorrhizal fungi, which is a natural fungi that will help roots to develop. Great on roses, fruit trees. So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of this on the roots, as you can see, and it's sticking to the roots and into the hole. Hold that into position. Put my glove on, because this is a prickly rose, this one. It's got beautiful mid-pink double flowers, scented, and just repeat flowering from early summer till September. And then that soil is going to go in and just give it a little shake as you go, so the soil goes in between the roots. Okay, and then this is the important bit. We need to pull the soil around, and that's the union, so we want that to be just slightly below, like that. And again, just give it that bit of a shake so the soil is in contact with all those roots. So it's just below there, only an inch or so at the most. And then the important thing is we firm that in, really firm. Roses like their roots to be in firm soil. Now, somebody said the other day I should wear Wellingtons in the garden. I do wear wellies, but not when I'm digging, because I find the spades cut into the bottom of my wellies. So that's firmed in, and then just pull a last bit of soil around it like that. Now this soil is nice and moist, and it's, here we are, the end of November, going into December, so there's plenty of moisture here. So I'm not watering. If your soil is a little bit, you think, on the dry side, you could give it one initial water just to settle it, but that is it for me, absolutely fine. I've left that label on, and that is it. We don't have to do anything else with that. No pruning at this stage. I will probably do a little bit of formative pruning in the spring, but for now I just want it to get the roots out, to establish, and we can look forward to that new growth in the spring. Well, thank you for watching, and as well as our YouTube videos, don't forget we've also got the new Pots and Trowels podcast that comes out every week on a Sunday.
So I thought, I know, I'll get my sister who is a gardener, she'll come down and she'll...
Because a lot of ponds look very flat because water lilies just lay flat on top of the
You can get that on your normal podcast provider, so hopefully you'll have a listen to that. And we'll be back again next week in the garden, so see you then. Bye.